What's up, fight fans? Your boy P. Welsh here. UFC Fight Night. We got Cannonier versus RoboCop Rodriguez. Starting off strong in the women's bantamweight division. We're starting with Julia Avila versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Avila 9-3 coming off a loss to Misha Tate, and Cavalcanti 8-1 coming off a win. And short and sweet, we got Cavalcanti all day. She's pretty monstrous for the. She looks really big in the octagon. She's got KO potential, and I think she might be able to get a finish there. Typically, she's been really fighting really well at the unanimous decision, but I think Avila is one of those fighters she could finish and can finish, and get a nice statement win. But I do think this is a Cavalcanti spot. She's a massive favorite. Avila a little bit older, a little bit long in the tooth, hasn't fought in a little bit. Cavalcanti's coming in there fresh. She's gonna whoop on that. So let's just take Cavalcanti here and move along, ladies and gentlemen. To one of my more interesting fights, I'd like to see what happens here. We got Dontel Mays, heavyweight bout, 11-7, coming off a loss versus Walter Volker, 12-1, coming off a win. Mays lost to Gaziv, I believe. Got smashed, dude. Beat Machado, lost to Nascimento. Up and down career, honestly. And Walter Walker coming into shape, coming into form in his last. I mean, he did Junior Tafa on a heel hook at the end of the first round on a verbal tap. Lost to Bresky in his initial debut. So, I mean, you can definitely see some comparisons to Bresky and Mays where Walter might struggle a little bit more, but I really think he's going to be one of the up and coming ascending heavyweights. A very unique style, very massive, 6'6", big tall frame. I think he's got good leverage. He's going to have to learn to throw some better hands and do a little bit more there, but I think as he develops, he's going to get into that more. And I think if he gets these guys down and they eventually can't get up, I think that's where he has a huge advantage. I'm big on Walter. I think he's slimmed up a little bit. If you looked at his last fight versus his first fight in the UFC, he had some time to adjust there, April to August, and now he's got till February. I think we're going to see a class performance. 27 years old. As long as he doesn't have a touch of Johnny's chin. And I mean, it's not like Dontel Mays is really out there knocking people's lights out. He has been subbed too before, so he can get taken down. Not the best gas tank either. We'll see. I mean, I picked him. I can't really imagine. I got Walker here all day against Mays, but we'll move along there. Should be an exciting one to fight there. We're going back to the bantamweight division here. We got Vince Morales, 16-8, coming off a loss versus Elijah Smith. I think he's coming off the Contender Series, 7-1 record, 22 years old, and yeah, this is I feel like we have a few of these back-to-back breakdowns. It's if Mays loses, it ain't gonna look good for his career, and the same with Vince here. If Vince loses to a Contender Series guy, it could be not the best for his career, and even if he wins, he'd still be out. I've seen them do that too with people I like. So I like Elijah Smith here. We expecting him to put his lights out? I kind of think so. He's got 4 wins in his amateur build-up. Vince does have the veteran, training, and maybe he can use his technique to get around him and do a lot of damage, control it for 3 rounds here. But I mean, I kind of feel like we should, you're not like a smash the Elijah Smith banner, and I haven't really seen him fight, but coming off the Contender Series, I don't make these matchups for no reason. Again, let's check the weight cuts. Let's check a bunch of this stuff going into there. But I mean, I think this is Elijah Smith's spot. I think he's young, explosive, and the athleticism, 14-year difference. I know I always talk about the experience and the technique and the differences over time, and this is one of those spots where, like, yeah, we can be on Vince Morales, dude, but 12-year difference, 3-6 record in the UFC, getting pieced up, boxed up. Had a long career, hasn't really beaten anybody talented, beats other people. So I think this is an Elijah Smith spot. It seems like they're kind of dragging Vince here to, see if he's got one last shot in him. There were some cancellations in here. We had Bakardinov cancel, Jacob Malkin cancel, and Kainu Fernandez. Actually, that's wondering. We don't have Jared Gordon on the list anymore, so I think that's actually one that just happened this week too. I think we lost Jared Gordon because Fernandez withdrew. I really feel like they have that on the books, but maybe hold on, take a look real quick. Nah, I was Glad I waited a day to do this because I was going to do this yesterday and I felt a little rushed after the Eagles Super Bowl. I waited a day. Some of the things changed. They even got some of the on the one website. They got a different fight order. They got Chaos Bomb Theme early, but we're just gonna stick with Vince. No Jared Gordon. He withdrew. I was looking forward to him potentially, but got Vince Morales, Elijah Smith here. Hopefully, see some finishes this week. The last I think 312 was a little bit ho hum. Next one with Poatan on Kalaev should be exciting. But in between that, I think this is a really good fight card. I think we can see a lot of finishes, man. I really do. I think we see a lot of exciting fights. All things considered, a lot of people with a lot of prospecting going on. Walter Volger, Elijah Smith, Cavalcanti's a monster. I think she's going to be fighting in some bigger women's fights against some higher levels. I really think she's a very talented fighter. And, and this is another one. I think we get some finishes here. I think we saw a couple sparks of, like, the finishes in that last pay-per-view, but a lot of decisions, a lot of people just, this is the one that we're talking about. If this is the one they move up first, it's first for a reason. Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. 16-1. Bonfim against Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. 15-3. And, I don't know how Bonfim is minus. I really worry about his ability to withstand some damage that Chaos can prevent here. Bonfim, very talented, but I don't know if he's very technical. He's still very young in the UFC. 16-1. I think he has like 4 fights, I want to say. He's 3-1, beat Lusa, lost to Dalby, beat Giles. And, I think him and his brother came on at the Brazil card, a couple finishes against a couple trash cans. But I just will never forget the Dalby fight, man. He just kind of wilted and fell in the second round. He was cruising minus 600 favorite. And I kind of see something like that happening here a little bit too. I think Chaos Williams is the kind of fighter that presents damage and explosiveness, and he ain't gonna just come in there and just try and fight, man. This guy goes in there a little bit different. And I think this is a big Chaos Williams spot. I'm picking him here. Even put him with a Walter Volger and a 2-pick. I think is where I'm kind of leaning towards this week. I already set the ticket in, but I think the length, the damage. I mean, and that's the thing, man. If you get hurt against this guy, a body shot could change it, and then he puts his lights out. I think Chaos Williams is live for a finish here. I think they're putting him first. I feel like a few times we've seen a men's minus plus 190 guy take home the opening fight and it not even be that close. And I think this could be one of those situations. I mean, I like Bonfim a lot, 3-1, but like I'll just kind of always tread a little water against somebody that could do a lot of damage fast and change the course of the fight and be physically imposing as well, right? Like Chaos Williams is an absolute. I feel like he's very explosive. He's coming in there and. Yeah, maybe he's going to get taken down, and that's probably the chance that he, that Bonfim has. But if he can't keep him down, right? As soon as they get sweaty, he gets tired. I don't know how his gas tank is. Hasn't really had a lot of UFC time like that, and like I said, I'll always remember that Dalby fight, man. It was not it was the second round and he got finished, man. He got damage done, finished, and Dalby's a dog, don't get me wrong, but I think Chaos got some dog in him like that too. I got a big upset here, Chaos Williams. I think he can, again, alive for a finish. I think the second round might be one of those things too. It's like he has to withstand some stuff, do some damage. But yeah, I just think at some point some of these guys that like are more jiu-jitsu, grappling, they start throwing hands, but they take damage and they're not the same, right? And that's the thing I think with Bonfim. I think we saw it with Zell Huber against Rabovich. Is like guys are different when they're not hit and damaged, and guys are different when they're damaged. I think that's something we can break down and appreciate about certain fighters too. Like certain fighters fight really well clean, certain fighters fight really well when it's all starting to go, right? You can think of Yuri, Prohashka, and stuff like that. So, and I think that's once I think Gabriel Bonfim was one of those guys. He fights really well clean. Nobody's touching him. He can piece him up. He's got the length, the speed. If he's better than him, he's gonna absolutely dominate. But if it's even, and if he's taking damage, I think the advantage goes to the other guy. So I just also think this is a spot where it's not as. I mean, I just like Williams, man. I think Williams with the damage can get it done. That is the official pick. We had our first draw last week. I forgot to even comment 7-4-1. Jimmy Crute, another draw, incredible. But going to move on to the flyweight division there. Big Chaos Williams guy over here. Rafael Estevam flyweight versus Jesus Aguilar, 12-0 versus 11-2. 4 foot or 4 inch height advantage, a 7 inch reach advantage for Estevam, and I like Aguilar, man. I've been on the Aguilar train a few times, and this might be where it gets derailed. We'll see how he does with the metric disadvantage, but he also has been finished himself a couple times, and I think he does struggle with the longer, lengthier guys because he just again it's the same thing when you take a little bit of damage, but when it's an even matchup against somebody that he can definitely grapple against, Jesus Aguilar is very good. And we got to see if this might be a big test for Estevam too. Like Charles Johnson's a nice win, but Jesus Aguilar presents a completely different matchup night problem than Charles Johnson did, right? Charles Johnson's even like longer than Estevam, so to win that one is why I'm probably just leaning toward Estevam here. Even though I am a big Aguilar fan, I think he's got great like fight awareness. I think he can really capitalize on any mistakes that a fighter makes, and Rafael hasn't made any, so maybe he will and get caught. I also think that we can always kind of if he's going in there for a takedown, he can get caught in a gilly too. You never know what presents a situation in the fight. So I'm gonna go Rafael here. I'm not super confident in it, but definitely not one that I feel a lot of. I'm a fan of Jesus Aguilar, and I think he's got a lot of potential to make it really scrappy. And it doesn't make me very comfortable picking when it very well could be a split decision fight. I think these guys are very evenly matched up. I think they got very good motors, very good gas tanks, very good technique. I think there will be a lot of reversals. I think it will be a high-level grappling match, and I also think these guys will throw some hands. I think they'll throw hands a lot earlier and then kind of move to that, just because I think one thing with the advancement in the UFC is that, like, as you have a strength and a technique, you have to set it up by also not going for it right away because, yeah, it might have an advantage getting to it, but if it's not effective and you don't have a secondary game plan, right? Like, if you start with a backup game plan and it's effective, you can add in your ace, right, and go for some major fight movements. It's just something I think we can see develop over time. Like, Jesus also might take down clean round one and then 2-3 change up, man. It's crazy how the change of rounds, when people get going, when they reset them on their feet, what changes. But this should be a very high-level matchup. I'm very excited about what these guys bring to the octagon. And, boy, I mean, yeah, not the, probably won't see anybody KO'd. Maybe see a submission here, but definitely a high level. Probably go to the judges' scorecard, but I got Rafael Estevam edging him out. Jesus Aguilar, yeah. Jared Gordon, not on the card. At least not on the betting, so we're not going to cover him. We're going to go to the feature prelim. Angela Hill versus Katlin Suzo. Angela Hill, 17-14, coming off a loss. I'm about to say she's on a good run, but she's coming off a loss. And then Ketlin Suso, 15-4 strawweight. And, yeah, I think she's very high. Who did she lose to? Ricci, but she won a couple before that. Hill. And Suso, man, she looks like, she looks like she can shoot up the rankings with another win right here. Take Hill's spot, and it might be one of those times. I think the metrics are definitely going to be, not really too much, a little bit of I just think the experience is on Angela Hill's side, but I'm also picking Sousa. It's just, certain people match up well against certain people, and then they don't for other matchups. And I think Sousa, this is one where her explosiveness and her ferocity just could overwhelm Hill. I just don't think she's as technical as needs to be to combat somebody like Sousa, who's going to come in there and get Hill off balance. I think that's something that, like, when you watched Sousa fight, she really does a really good job of keeping her opponents uncomfortable. And I think that's what we're going to see here. Now, again, Angela Hill is very experienced, and it wouldn't surprise me if she gets a win. But I think, I'm just not going against the talent sometimes in the women's division. It's a very close on a pick'em, and that means they expect a lot from Angela Hill. I think, and she shows up. She doesn't just lay down and just not fight. So that's why we love Angela Hill too. That's why she's still in the UFC. That's why she's getting exciting fights like. And I think Sousa's gonna bring it, and she has to bring it. If not, I think Sousa kind of reminds me of Andrade in a little bit. Not even stylistically, but also trajectory as a prospect, kind of like dynamite in there, beat some good veterans, maybe ascend a little bit too quickly, too fastly. I think this could be one of her stepping stones. And that's why I'm kind of picking her. I kind of trying to ascend her in a way, and I just don't think Angela Hill might just be struggling a little bit. But I expect a very tough matchup, and then this one going the distance most likely. And if there's a finish, it should be an exciting fight. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the main card, the featherweight division. Conor Matthews, no relation to Jake from last week, versus Jose Delgado. Conor Matthews 7-2, coming off a loss, and we got Delgado 8-1, making his debut from the Contender Series featherweight bout. I mean, the thing is, Delgado finishes guys, right? That's his. You don't go to the decision, right? So that's kind of Matthews. Is he going to be able to weather the storm? Is he going to be able to take some on the chin? I don't think many people believe in Matthews like that. So, I mean, this is a Jose Delgado spot. I think it could be a first round finish. It's very lofty expectations, but I think he can do some damage, get in there, take him down, and get a sub as well. I mean, sometimes when you see guys that can do that move like that against somebody like Matthews, or that's Matthews in there trying to get a sub, so that could be the situation where we get a big upset. Excuse me, I spoke wrong. Delgado gonna go in there again, looking for a little bit too, but again, coming off the Contender Series, definitely one of his biggest challenges. What's he going to bring to the table? And hopefully a lot. I mean, these fight nights I think are good to get these guys in there. Don't have super big adrenaline dumps before, some of your debuts and your big fights. That's why I kind of like the Apex. And I mean, Matthews really has to show up, or is he going to show out? Not always the best record. Got knocked out, which were exciting. But again, every one of his, he hasn't really fought too many good people like that. And this is a challenge for both of these gentlemen, and it should be exciting. One thing we kind of have to be wary of, just like last week in Steel, is young guys, if they have to have a good game plan. Maybe they've not developed a game plan to go in there. That's one thing that I definitely learned from Peterson. Heavyweight is like sometimes these guys don't have good enough game plans going in there, right? And we look at somebody like Hanato Moicano being able to dice up BSD because he's got a great game plan. He's studying it, the technique. So that also I think has a big factor into a lot of these matchups. I think Delgado is a big favorite, but he's also very likely to lose if he doesn't have a good strategy. And Matthews is a certified vet, could be like, I come in here against guys way better than you. Not a spot that I really want to go with Matthews in. It's not one that I'm really saying like, yo, hey, Delgado's a snipe at -300. And this is definitely one that's going to be really close. I could see it going to the scorecard. 29-28, something like that. Delgado. I think it's going to be a scrappy fight. I think it's going to be a lot of exchanges. And I think it's going to be a nice welcome to the UFC moment for Delgado. Probably not the most exciting fight. Hopefully we see somebody finish. This is why we want to watch and see if people can ascend. But at the end of the day, I got Jose Delgado in there. Just take it home, son. Take it home. Wow, what a matchup here. I like this one. Middleweight bout. We got Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petrovsky. Vieira 10-2 coming off a win, and Petrovsky 12-4 coming off a couple wins. And I think Vieira's coming off a replacement of Molkin. And a great matchup for him against Petrovsky, who has been leaning on the wrestling and not doing much else in his last couple successive fights. And I just don't think he'll be able to. Even if he gets it down, I don't think he holds him down. I think Petrovsky's got a weak gas tank. He doesn't do a lot of volume. I think this is a Vieira spot. I think he can get him with a finish. I don't know if he gets him on the hands. He has been knocked out before, but I like Petrovsky. But the last two guys he fought, they didn't try. Josh Fiend, they did not even try. He took him down and he just held him down. Didn't work a lot of offense. Didn't work a lot of ground and pound. Worrying about getting him up, like them getting up. Working on position, not submission, or not very little advancement. Man, I got Vieira here. I like Petrovsky. I think he's a solid opponent. I think he really has a chance to be tough for a lot of people. But I think when he fights with some people, he also gets finished. And I think Vieira's the guy that finishes people easily. And I don't know if this is a second round fight. So I think he can be subbed out as he going in there, hit him with a ghillie. Vieira by sub, I really like a lot. As Petrovsky's going in there for a takedown, ghillie style. This is a lot of exciting matchups. I feel like a lot of guys that are not exactly like some good even matchups, right? And then some good matchups where we're like, hey man, we better see something exciting because like it's not exactly 50-50. This is one of those cases where I think Vieira absolutely starches Petrovsky, hits him with some combo. He goes in there, jumps a ghillie. He's a little on the little damage side, and it's just over. Jeez, let's go, baby. Got Bomb Fiend's brother, Bomb Fiend Ishmael versus Nazim Saidokov. Bomb Fiend 20-4 coming off a win. This is a lightweight bout against Saidokov, 9-1-1 coming off a draw. Last fight again was the draw against Borshev in 2023. Couple rescheduled, canceled bouts. And man, I'm really hoping it's not a totally bad day for the Bomb Fiends after I picked Chaos Williams. And I mean, maybe it is bad for me instead of the Bomb Fiends, but I kind of like Saidokov here. He's going off as a big underdog again. I like Ishmael Bomb Fiend a lot more technical. I think he's got a lot better gas tank. A lot more competitive for the division in terms of what the division presents as an opponent, right? The welterweights just have absolute killers in it. Not saying the lightweights don't, but just the extra damage and the extra, like with the way the weight bullies are going, like how many guys are, actually 10+ pounds when my guy is like, again, I think it'd be one of those things where if you had a 175 Bomb Fiends, and Williams might not face off, but at 170, I think they face off, right? And that's one of those things I think at 165, Gabriel Bomb Fiend can be there, but at 170 it's a lot tougher to exist, and that's why I think Ishmael's a lot better of a prospect as well. But boy, this is a tough spot for both these guys to be in, man. This is an absolute banger of a fight. I'm leaning Saidokov, and I'm picking Saidokov to start, but I think Ishmael Bomb Fiend is definitely live for a win. Again, I worry about his technical ability late. I worry about both these guys' ability to finish late in fights and not take damage. I will say I think Ishmael is better at not taking damage than his brother, and I think that's something. I think he's a little bit more explosive as a fighter. I think he's a little bit more dynamic in terms of what he presents. I think his losses are a little bit more, a finish to BSD. It's kind of like you just in there again. It kind of goes with that game plan, so I'm a little worried about that. And I kind of like Shabazian or Saidokov, coming in there with a good game plan and being able to finish him and negate what they've put on film in the UFC. And now 3 fights. That's a lot of fight time, and what they like to do with some success against McKinney. And I'm not just gonna remember their flash in the pan from 20. It's a long time ago. I think these guys are very talented. I think they could potentially ascend to title contenders, but they got a lot of work still to do, and they're a little bit older, and I'm just a little bit worried that it might not be a good day for the Bomb Fiend. But Ishmael, definitely this one going to the scorecard, definitely highly contested. Another one that could be finished, go to the scorecard. Anything can happen in this fight. This is a super exciting fight. I love it. I'm absolutely a big fan of this fight, and I think Saidokov's going to get the win, and that's where I'm going. Going Saidokov, another upset. 3 fights remaining on the card. I just said Shabazian. My freaking brain was foreshadowing against Dylan Budka, 13-5, coming off a loss for Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budka, 7-4, coming off a loss, 2-inch reach advantage or height advantage. And this is a Shabazian spot. If he loses here, if he don't show up, if he can't win against Budka, I see this one going to the scorecards. I like Shabazian by decision. I just think some guys, when they're just down like that, they kind of need to just get the fight. A lot of fight time in there. I know the KOs come and the KOs go and he gets finished a lot. But I just think at some point he's just going to have to just try and fight for his life, for as long as he can. And I think that's what happens here. I think he can do a lot of damage to Buka, but I don't know if he gets the finish. I think Buka will, even though he has been finished quite a bit too. In times I picked against him to get finished, I think of an absolute closer fight. I don't think. I think he'll show some heart. I don't think Shabazian has that he just doesn't present sometimes the KO power that like Cesar Almeida did, and I think it's a potential. But that's why I don't think he gets finished. I think this one goes to the scorecard. I like Shabazian. It's just like I can't get behind Buka. I'm not going to come in here telling you to pick Budka. But you know what I mean, Budka? I don't know how to say his name. But that's what I'm just trying to say is it's a tough spot either way. But I mean, Shabazian has been in there against some great guys and got finished. And I expect if you're still coming in there ready to go, I expect you to come in there. He ain't fighting no trash cans, bro. Mearshart, Hernandez, Imival, Hermanson, Brunson. Brunson's probably the worst loss, but that's so many years ago. I think this is a Shabazian spot. I think he's got to come up here. If not, he's out. And both these guys could be out, but we need Shabazian in there. He's going to get the dub, at least, on his way out. Going to move into the co-main event. Exciting matchup here. We got Calvin Kattar, 23-8, coming off a loss to Aljo. Youssef Zala, 16-5-1, coming off a win. Absolute submission machine here. And does he get another one? Probably, right? I mean, Zala has been on fire, and he should be an exciting featherweight to present. I think he's coming in there. I think they make this matchup as somebody that I don't know if he gets the finish against Qatar. He's a tough guy, really tough. He's really struggles more against the strikers than so much in, right? And his only loss is by injury, by TKO. He doesn't really get finished, so this is going to be a Zala spot. Let's see how he does over 3 rounds. Let's see if he can physically impose himself at 145. Because we saw Aljamain do that, but the move up from 35 to 45 took a little bit of time for Sterling to get we see him didn't have a lot of success against Qatar, right? He doesn't really doing the damage that he was doing at bantamweight in a way. And let's see if Qatar is able to withstand Zala bullying him like Aljamain did, right? At least getting him to the ground, presenting hooks in, just making him defend. I think this is kind of has a lot of that again on it, but is Zala as good as a wrestler as Aljamain? I don't think so, but will that present a problem? I think the guy's going to really make it a tough night for Zala, and I can see Zala going down here. I'm not picking him to go down. I'll pick Zala here just because I like the prospect. I like him as a fighter. I think he's got a lot of chances, but this is not a super confident, even minus 400, as I said about the guy minus 300. These heavy favorites in this main card, I'm not so certain as, because I think Qatar's a certified professional. He's been in some absolute wars against some absolute gangsters, but sometimes when things get turned over, it's just time, and I think it's just going to be a tough matchup. I think Zala can get a 3rd round finish. Put in a lot of work. Qatar finally get something done. Make some adjustments, get him down. I like Zala here, and I don't think he gets subbed out. Qatar's a freaking tough fight, man. It's a tough fight, but I think that's why they want it for Zala. They got to see him. They got to see him do it for 15 minutes. You want to keep ascending, you got to do it against a certified guy that's proven to go to war and not get finished, right? Because there is a level of the fighters in the UFC, and there's a level of the fighters and their quality and them not getting finished. And that's an absolute certainty. And Qatar's been like that. 30 fights, only 2 finishes, 1 by injury. So let's see what you got, Zala. Picking him for the dub, though. And the main event of the evening, the middleweight ranked matchup, Jared Cannonier versus Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues. 17-8 for Cannonier, coming off a loss. 16-5. RoboCop coming off a win. And the first thing I noticed is that height advantage for RoboCop. Cannonier got them long arms. I just worry about Cannonier, dude. RoboCop absolutely hits like a brick, man. I can see a 1-hit KO. I can also see RoboCop getting dominated for 5 rounds. I don't trust his gas tank like that. Right, Cannonier coming off Imavov and then coming to RoboCop, I think is a way different prospect, but I both think they present this similar tough nights for Cannonier, which he has struggled with over the course of his career, man. Losses to heavy hitters, Baralo, Imavov, Adesanya, Whitaker, beat Strickland on a very close fight. I got RoboCop Rodrigues here. I mean, it's his time he's got to shine, dude. He's got to get the finish. He's got to do more. Yeah, beat Leroy Duncan. Nice fight, dude. Really showed a lot, and that's why I'm picking him here, because that's a fight that, that proves you're a tough fighter, man. That proves you can go in there against really, really strong competition. Means you can overcome talent. Means you can overcome the veterans as well, prospects and the contenders. I like it. Let's go, Rodrigues for the win. Main event. We'll do a little recap here and call it a day, upload the video, and we'll move on here. We got Cavalcanti, Walter Volger, Elijah Smith, Chaos Williams, Estevim, Katlin Suso. We got Delgado, Vieira, Saidokov, Shabazian, Zala, and Gregory Rodrigues. Like, comment, subscribe if you made it in the video. Comment all your winners. If you get 100% right, I'll give you $100. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Peace and love.